All the hits and the stars every weekend here on American Country Countdown. This weekend, we got our buddy Blake Shelton hanging with us. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you doing?
So you're closing in now on number one with your latest song, Texas. This is exciting.
Let me tell you, you can't imagine how excited I am because I'm to the point in my long career that you never know which one of them is going to be the last one they even play on the radio, much less, go all the way, and so I'm having so much fun with this. I have a grin on my face every day the last few weeks as we get closer and closer, just because I've been doing it so long. I know that these moments are a big deal, and you gotta try to take them in when they happen.
It's hard not to love a song that name checks the king.
Well, that's cheating, and I'm not above cheating, but I figured, if you want a number one song, you should just sing about one of George Strait's songs. You can't go wrong, right?
Do what you gotta do.
This is American Country Countdown with Ryan Fox.
My guest here this week, Blake Shelton, name checks the king and his latest song called Texas. Speaking of the king, you have toured with George Strait before. Do you have a favorite George Strait on the road touring story?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, look, when you tour with George Strait, sometimes you wonder, is he really even here or not? Because it's like, this guy is the most mysterious person. Like, you're going, where is he?
Really?
We're on tour and I haven't seen him. And then all of a sudden, magically, when it's time for him to be on stage, he just appears there like Scotty beamed him up. You know what I mean? And he's just standing there in the spotlight. So I didn't get to hang out with him all the time, but I did have about, I would say, 4 nights where he would invite me onto his bus and we'd have a beer or two and just visit. And by the way, those were some of the biggest moments of my life, and I'm not even kidding, just having a chance to visit with him. But I got to tell you, if you want to know my favorite memory, is we played in Houston one night, and the stadium down there.
Yep.
And it was a big show for George because it was Houston, and I feel like the stadium was new then, and of course he sold it out, and so he had a big after party after the show. And so the entire tour was in this huge tent that they had rented, and we're having an after party. And of course, like I was saying, there's no George Strait anywhere to be found. And so I saw there was a karaoke guy set up in there. So I went and was singing some karaoke, and I said, man, put in All My Exes Live in Texas. And so he put it in, and I sang about, I don't know, halfway through the first verse. And I swear I turned around and looked, because I saw the look on everybody's face in the room, and George had grabbed a microphone and was standing there with me and sang All My Exes Live in Texas with me on karaoke. Of course, I stopped singing. I was like, there's no way in hell. But I have a picture of it in my bar. It's one of my favorite memories of that tour, and just one of my all-time favorite memories because I was shocked. Like, once again, where the hell did he come from? Like, he just appears there,
Oh, my gosh, that's so great. Oh, we got more with the man, Blake Shelton, on the way on American Country Countdown. Don't move.
This is American Country Countdown with Ryan Fox.
That's our guest this weekend, Blake Shelton. That one hit number one here on American Country Countdown back in July of 2019. That is God's country. You got Ryan Fox. Blake has a song later on in the countdown called Texas. And Blake, that one could end up being your 30th number one, right?
Yes.
Does having so many great songs like you do make it tougher to come up with a set list at your shows? Like, are there songs that you had to axe that you maybe miss playing now?
There is some of that, because a lot of shows that we do, when I'm not doing my normal tour, my normal headline tour, we get booked on all kinds of things, fairs and festivals and things like that. And they say, hey, man, we need you to play an hour and 15 minutes. And so I made a set list here a couple of years ago, and I hadn't played in a while, and I just ran it by my manager, and he goes, well, wow, you're leaving a lot of songs that people probably want to hear off. I go, no, I can only do like 17 songs tonight. Like, he goes, oh, yeah, I guess that's a good problem to have.
Right.
But, the truth is, when you get on a run like we got on, say 10 years ago or whatever, a lot of those hits, they did something, and that was exciting. But you really know over the test of time which songs really stuck and mattered, and even though I was lucky enough to have that much success, it still comes down to maybe these core, 8 or 10 songs that over 24 years that really, those are the ones that you better not walk out there and not sing Old Red.
Right.
Which, by the way, wasn't even a top 10 single or Austin or God's Country. You have just a handful of them. Out of all of them, there still is the main ones that you better do.
This is American Country Countdown with Ryan Fox.
Up one spot to number 19 on this weekend's American Country Countdown. That is Sam Hunt with Country House. And Ryan Fox. All the stars hang out with me every weekend on American Country Countdown. Blake Shelton's with us right now. Blake, I know you like to fish, and you and your better half, Gwen Stefani, went fishing not too long ago. It looks like she did pretty good.
Man, I'll tell you, that particular day that she put on social media, I was actually starting to get a little bit pissed off because I'm the one that fishes. You don't fish, And it's like every cast, she was catching something, and it was like, oh my God. I was like, just by the way, it's not always this easy, It was just one of those days. She had the magic touch that day.
What hobbies does she like to do that you've gotten into?
Flowers, believe it or not. As embarrassing as that is for me to say, but I'm willing to own it. She's really gotten me into the flower game, because it's very frustrating. And when you get something that happens, it's exciting. She lets me get out and do it my way with, I get on the tractor and do a couple of acres of flowers. And so I feel a little manlier about getting to do it on the big tractor,
Up in your flower game. I didn't have that on my bingo card for you in 2025, Blake.
That's right.
This is American Country Countdown with Ryan Fox.
All right, Blake, we're so excited about the new album for recreational use only. Comes out May 9th. I'm curious, when it comes to recreation for you, what do you like to do for fun on your day off?
I don't smoke weed like the album title suggests, but I do drink a lot still.
Hey, we all have to have our hobbies.
It's funny, my manager was beating me up about we need an album title, and I don't know why it just popped into my head. I said, how about just for recreational use only, just so people know don't take my music that seriously. That's how it came to fruition, but I still am trying not to get too crazy busy again like I have been, my whole voice era of my career, which was 2 seasons of that a year, and then touring and recording and everything else that happens in life. I'm trying to avoid that. Now, in the meantime, I did start up a new singing competition show. It'll air this fall with Keith Urban and Gretchen Wilson and Taylor Sheridan. And we're super excited about that. It's on CBS, but I'm done with it. And so now once this album gets released, it's going to be hard for anybody to get me on the phone for a couple of months because I'm not used to this thing called work. I've enjoyed the last couple of years. You know what I mean?
This is American Country Countdown with Ryan Fox.
There he is, the man, Blake Shelton, up one spot to number 8 this weekend on American Country Countdown. That is Texas. Here with Ryan, hanging with Blake. All right, buddy, we're going to play Blake or Fake right now. And in this game, all you got to do is tell me if the following statements about you are true or if they're clearly made up.
All right.
Blake or Fake, you once had a pet turkey.
That's Blake. And my turkey's name was Turkey.
That's very nice. You're a simple man, Blake Shelton, but I love it, though. Okay, Blake or Fake, you have deer track tattoos.
That's Blake right there.
There they are on your arm.
Bam. There you go.
You are turning vegan. Blake or Fake?
That's Fake. Oh, my God.
You competed in pageants as a child. Blake or Fake, Blake Shelton?
That's Blake. Yeah, I'm still trying to forget about that. Thanks for reminding me.
Sorry about that. You're a Mr. Fix-It around the house, Blake Shelton. Blake or Fake?
No, I wish. That's probably Fake. Yeah. I mean, I can change a light bulb, but I can't work on the plumbing,
You've been streaking, Blake Shelton. Blake or Fake?
Oh, I have no confidence to do something like that. That's Fake. I have zero confidence in myself with clothes off.
All right, Blake Shelton, Blake or Fake? You can outdrink anyone.
Well, I used to think that till I met Post Malone, so that's Fake.
You would go to outer space if offered the opportunity. Blake or Fake, Blake Shelton?
Outer space? Wow, I never thought about that. That's Fake. I don't think so.
Okay.
I barely even left the United States in my life.
Blake or Fake, Blake Shelton? Your latest hit, Texas, is going number 1. It's going to be your 30th number 1. This is happening.
Oh, my gosh. But what if this makes it, what if you're doing a hex on it or by saying that?
I'll say it for you, Blake. I'm putting it out in the universe. It's going to happen.
Okay, it's Blake.
All right, there it is. Blake Shelton, thank you so much for spending the time with us this weekend on American Country Countdown. It's been a blast.
Thank you, buddy. Good to see you.
This is American Country Countdown with Ryan Fox.